Jujutsu Kaisen has taken the anime community by storm with its fascinating anime series, incredible movie, and fire animation despite it being rushed. It's also an anime with some hidden meanings, a few references, and all sorts of other tidbits for eagle-eyed viewers. But what are those specific hidden meanings? Well, starting with number 1, the Season 2 beach scene in the beginning of the series. When Season 2 dropped, fans were hyped to no end to finally uncover the history between Geto and Gojo and what caused this major split between the two. Well, Season 2 delivered, but the hints at actually what happened were given much earlier, more specifically in the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. To help you recall, during some flashback scenes in the movie, there was a still image of Gojo and Geto having a cheerful meal with a young woman whose back we can see. Season 2 tells us that the girl was Riko, who was essentially the catalyst that brought Geto down to his dark path. Fans may note the similarity between the beach scene in episode 2 of season 2 and the one we just discussed. There are some obvious differences, of course, like the clothes they wear, but it can be mostly forgotten as they were made at 2 different times. However, note the coloring of the 2 scenes. In the anime, the colors are bright and cheerful, likely telling us how the scene felt for our characters in that present moment. In the movie, however, the choruses are darker and more distraughted, likely because it's either a memory of Gojo or because it holds a more melancholic feeling for him, considering how it all ended. Also, you'll note that Riko's face is not shown and her hairstyle is different. This may be the anime's way of telling us that so much has happened that Gojo can't remember exactly how this girl was. We all know Gojo isn't as callous as he pretends to be, so this means he's been through the ringer so often that this defying tragedy is losing its effect. Well, that's a cheery way to start this off. And next, at number 2 is Season 2, Episode 1, The Tally Mark. This one's more sort of a factoid where at the beginning of the first episode of Season 2, the anime hints at the nature of the cursed spirit that Meimei and Yutahime are trapped in. They were investigating a house known for disappearances, and they discovered it belonged to a failed businessman whose death, along with that of his family, invited cursed spirits to inhabit the area. They discovered that the curse is an endless corridor, but Meimei figured out the trick of escaping by overexerting the spirit. However, fans will notice that during the search, Yutahime finds a room with signs of someone living in it. But the most interesting feature is the walls. There were tally marks on it and a ridiculous amount of them. This was a hint to indicate that the person living there was trying to escape but kept coming back to the same area due to the curse. Well, that's a fun hint at the puzzle our heroes were facing. Well, personally, I don't know if we can call Meimei a hero. But anyways, number 3. Gojo's soft side. Now, the hidden inventory arc kinda gave us the impression that Geto is the more reasonable and kinder of the two, which kinda makes sense based on everything we know about Gojo. However, their relationship affected Gojo a lot more than you think. For example, have you ever noticed the particular way Gojo speaks to Geto when it's just the two of them? The tone is softer and a lot kinder than Gojo's usual harsh and sarcastic tone. And that's because the voice actor was given specific notes to make sure viewers knew that the bond between the two was special. And boy, let me tell you, we did see it. Another interesting bit was during the end of the hidden inventory arc where we see Gojo waking up from his nap. There's a slight hint that his eyes were puffy. This might be a hint that the story we just saw could be a more objective recollection of what happened, and reliving it caused our poor overpowered jerk to get lost in some bad thoughts. And number 4 is the beautiful butterfly. The Shibuya arc was a real turnaround in Game of Thrones' wishes for their kill count. This particular Easter egg involves our favorite psychopath chiropractor Mahito. Specifically, how in the opening theme song of the arc there is a visual of a cocoon hatching to reveal a butterfly. This was a hint of Mahito's progress and eventual evolution into the killing machine we see him become in the end. And coming in at number 5 is Shibuya No More. Another Easter egg from the Shibuya arc opening involves the Tokyo Ward itself. In most of the episodes, the opening song shows Shibuya fully intact until you reach the 20th episode. episode where the entire ward goes missing. Now I don't need to tell you what horrific thing they are trying to hint at, but for the slowpokes at home, it's a hidden reveal as to what Sukuna has planned after beating a certain shadow creature. And last but not least, number 6, Jujutsu Kaisen's ending revealed in season 1. Now that one's a bit of a stretch, but if you think about it, it starts to make sense. Now for those who aren't caught up to date in the manga, chapter 264 revealed a big game changer in the plot going forward in dealing with Sukuna. Yuji unleashes his domain expansion and he and Sukuna find themselves in a train station with Sukuna in a copy of Yuji's body. Now what's interesting is that the first opening song of season 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, Yuji can be seen resting inside a train by himself. The thing to especially take note of is that there are no markings on his body. This might have been the sign that our young plucky hero might succeed in his plan to remove Sukuna and be the last one standing. And with all that, we come to the end of our video, so be sure to like, subscribe, and comment on what you thought of the video. Did some of these Easter eggs surprise you? Or do you have some of your own? Be sure to let me know about that or any other video you'd like to see, and I'll see you in the next one.